caveat. Tim Pool, yeah, he's a little skeptical of conspiracy theories. I think that's absolutely correct. And just really quick, when we were taken down by Facebook and Twitter on the same day, he suggested, I think I still have the screenshots, he suggested that it was our fault for not complying with their community standards. And he said that. He said that straight up. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of like or respect for Mr. Tim Pool, but glad to hear that you're on his show at least.
Well, it's weird to me that someone could be like, you're not playing along with their rules. If you're like, the rules are they're hiding the truth. Like we are the product. We create the social media. They need us. We don't need them, but we've been corralled away from again the golden era of websites. Oh, you gotta have a website. Well, I know people that don't even have websites. They just go to my Instagram, go to my TikTok, go to my. They corral us into this because it's convenient,
Sure.
and that we abandon everything else. We abandon the rest of the internet for convenience, But then to say, "Hey, dude, you're spending this whole thing about misinformation." It's like Gulf of Tonkin was misinformation.
Yeah.
Weapons of mass destruction was misinformation. The story of 9/11 is misinformation. All of it is even before you get to weapons of mass destruction. The story that is told to us about 19 Middle Easterners hijacking a plane in which nobody does anything. If you're like, dude, you're hijacking this plane, I'm gonna fuck you guys up. I'm going out anyways. I'm gonna fuck you guys up, right? But nobody did that. They are too busy making calls. Come on, come on. It's so stupid. And then Michael Churioff, whose father is a Talmud scholar, and his mother was a part of something called Operation Magic Carpet, in which she smuggled Zionists out of other countries into Palestine. And he's the one who's like, hey, get all these dancing Israelis, send them back to Israel. Yeah, you don't think there's something there? You're
Sure.
so worried about the slippery slope to goose stepping that you're okay with a genocide going on in Iraq? Right? It's just like, it's absolutely insanity to me. So we have these people that lied, and it's like, it's so memory hold now. It's so crazy to me. That's memory hold. And you know what's interesting to me is like you said something earlier about suddenly your Facebook is picking up.
Yeah.
I out of nowhere suddenly have 3 million views on my Instagram. I don't know where those views are coming from. I go and I try to coordinate what is the video that's getting all the views. I can't find it. So I know they lie about numbers. I've caught them so many times lying about the video numbers. I wonder if that's it too. Because I don't have anything that has a bazillion views that would warrant 3 million views in 30 days.
Sure.
But I'm with you. They're starting to let me dance a tiny. They're letting Daddy dance just a tiny bit. We'll see if
Badass.
this new duck is what he said. I don't trust him as far as I can kick that lizard, but it's interesting. Let's get into real quick your book. You are doing a kids book.
Yeah, well, yeah, we published it last year. Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it real quick here. We spend a lot of time, a lot of effort. I've never made a children's book before. It takes a little bit more energy and than you would expect. But no, we did release last year in April a book called Little Free Thinkers. Oh, it's not going to be able to. Little Free Thinkers Know Your
In
Rights.
front
I
of
guess I got
yourself
the blur
there.
on.
You kind of hold it in
Yeah.
front of yourself. Maybe pull
Is
it
that
back.
gonna?
Yeah, there you go.
There
Okay.
it is.
There we go. Little Free Thinkers Know Your Rights. And it's a labor of love. We spent a lot of time working on it, as I just mentioned. And, as we've been in the police accountability realm for a decade plus, we've covered a lot of stories about kids who were, arrested or had their rights violated. So it felt like a good time to write a children's book about knowing your rights. And it was definitely inspired by the Tuttle twins. I don't know if, do you guys have kids? If you guys have kids, you probably know of the Tuttle
Yes.
twins.
Which
Tuttle
one's the Tuttle
twins,
Twins?
yeah. So they're more of like right-leaning conservatives, but they put together a series of books and they sell like hotcakes because they're kind of outside of the norm of like the public school education stuff. And so, yeah, we decided to do kind of our own, teaching kids about their constitutional rights. Hopefully, if it does well, which it has been, it's still selling. We're sold out for a little while, but you can find them now. But this will be the first in a series of many books similar to this. So that's a plus if it continues to sell. But the book was written after this individual right here, who's actually a real life whistleblower cop. She was fired from her department, so we wanted to make her the main character. And yeah, it just more or less teaches kids about due process, free speech, the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, probable cause. And I would say it's probably geared towards kids more like ages 6 to 10. So yeah, guys, check it out. It's at littlefreethinkers.com, and there's sample pages over there. Yeah, give your kids a foundation of liberty. You know, there's so many other people that are putting, different ideas and thoughts into their mind, propagandizing our children. So why not do it yourself with a foundation of freedom and peace? So
Yeah, I have a children's comic book called The Chaos Twins. It's based on my daughters.
nice.
They're turning 5 soon. Can't believe it. And we watch these things. I remember watching YouTube, and there's a guy trying to teach kids how to do sorcery. I'm like, okay, all right. Like YouTube, is this okay for kids? If you say no, good luck on being seen anywhere,
Mm,
right? But then you're like, oh, why is this drag queen reading to the children? And
sure.
again, I have no listen. I'm a live and let live guy. I think when we become Puritans about sexuality, we allow blackmail to happen. And if someone's doing something with a consenting adults in the privacy of their own home, it's none of my business.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you're doing. It does not matter to me. Okay. And if it's a religious or spiritual, that's between them and God. God gave free will. Don't get mad at me. I'm trying to live the best I can. I'm a knuckle dragger weirdo. Okay. Trying to do the best I can. I make no illusions of that. Okay. But there's no reason why a man dressed like a truck stop hooker needs to be reading books to kindergartners. It's just there's no logic to that. Again, common sense says that's algebra, and these kids are trying to learn one, twos, and threes.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's submissive. I mean, it's subversion. It's subversion. And the last thing I want to say, then we'll let you go, is that I'm on this kind of thing on Instagram where I got 3 million views, which is the most I've had since they gave it back to me when I had to pay $3,000 for my Instagram back. Right.
What?
I had to give them $3,000. And this
Well,
guy,
somebody
my,
threw it. Yeah. Well,
I gave somebody $3,000. I gave him 1,500 up front going, show me what you got, then I'll pay you the rest.
Sure.
But this guy had gotten all these adult film stars had gotten their Instagrams back by paying this guy, and he said $3,000 I'll get you back. I go, I'll give you 15. Once I get back, I'll give you the next. He goes, deal. And so I did it, but when I got it back, I was getting like 5 million views. And then of course, because I just can't play nice in the sandbox, I wanted to press Instagram. So I started taking videos that were getting hundreds, if not millions of views, which I thought were politically incorrect, right? Like Instagram has signed off on that. I'm going to see if I can do a reaction video where I just point to the video and see if they get upset. And
Sure.
they got upset, even though I wasn't doing anything. So now it's back. But the point of this whole thing is that I believe political correctness is a tool to drive us apart. And again, if we're bringing emotion to everything, you're never going to solve any problems. And this kind of move right now, the final thing I want to talk to you about, and then I'll let you go, is this movement to outlaw anti-Semitism.
Hmm.
I think it's going to blow up in their face. And they could push it so hard at the bottom of a barrel that the facade of any kind of First Amendment may be destroyed. But I think it's going to blow up in their face. It's going to be the Streisand effect. Because what's going to happen, particularly white people, are going to go, why are you passing this law when white people have been getting murked on social media for the last 10 years, being blamed for everything all the time? And now we're just kind of calling out people for doing the exact same thing, and now you're passing laws that we can't do it. What are your thoughts on the whole anti-Semitism bill that they're trying, like this whole thought about the right in particular, which is if there is a woke right, I don't believe in that, but if we want to go woke right, the Zionist, the right, the Christian Zionist, the right Zionist, that seems to be the woke right. There's butthurt about Zionism. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, let's say that Trump has made a lot of enemies within the 2A community, right? After he said take the guns first and he banned the bump stocks. I don't think this is going to do him any favors with the 1A community as well. And believe it or not, there is a pretty vibrant 1A communities, particularly on YouTube. I don't know if you guys ever watched the YouTube First Amendment auditors that are on there. They're basically like cop watchers, but they go to all these different various governments, institutions, and installations, and they basically just have their cameras. They film any type of government employee or official or even police who show up, and they often expose that they don't know their own laws. And I don't mean to get too far off on that tangent, but I say all that because there's this saying within the 1A community, the auditor community, which is our rights trump feelings every single time. Your rights always are more important than somebody's feelings. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now with Trump is that he wants to try to make the Zionist faction of his regime and potentially, yeah, other people, Israel supporters, feel like they have a safe space in the US so that they can't have their feelings hurt with any types of critiques or criticisms of what the Israeli government is doing. And here's the kicker. I looked it up when Trump first signed that executive order. Anybody within the country, they don't have to be a citizen, has the right to freedom of expression. You don't have to be a citizen. Anywhere within the borders and boundaries of the US, you have the right to the First Amendment, to freedom of expression. So he's basically turning that on its head. And, unfortunately, the people who should be speaking out about it, the right conservatives, are too busy licking his boots and cheering him on. So that part of it is entirely frustrating to me. It's certainly not going to paint him very well in the annals of history. Anybody who stomps on free speech is always the enemy. So, yeah, I do think you're right. I think it will escalate. I don't think that this is a smart move at all. And I'm wondering where it's coming from. It could be his Zionist cabinet or his funders. But it seems like this is one of those things that maybe somebody whispered in his ear. And unfortunately, he's ran with it.
I think it's going to blow up in their face. I don't know what that means. The last question, the future of Israel. What do you think the future of Israel is?
Well, obviously, we have to defend Israel, right? Even if that means completely leveling Palestine completely with carpet bombs. That's a good question, man. I don't see its influence shifting much, at least over the next 4 years. I think Trump is too deeply indebted to his financial backers, Muriel Adelson being one of them. There's big money within people who have the Zionist views, pro-Israel views. So I don't think I would assume we're going to send more billions of dollars, more equipment, whatever it takes. And all of this is on the back of it potentially being a false flag. I'm sure that you guys did the research
yeah,
too after
October
October
7th.
7th. I mean,
Oh
like
yeah.
this is all just completely frivolous, and there's a lot of shady evidence surrounding it. So yeah, to me, this could have been something that was orchestrated from the beginning as a land grab, and even worse. So it's yeah, I don't see it changing much, unfortunately, not for quite a while.
It's so sad, dude. And it's so obvious it's a false flag. It's so obvious. I don't know if Hamas is the smartest people I've ever seen. The way they make Israel look so bad. They bring out these hostages. They look great. I mean, like they parade them out. I think I'm about to watch a hot dog eating contest, the way they put them in front of a table. I'm like, what is going on here? And then they bring out the Palestinian prisoners, Israel, and they all look like they just got back from Auschwitz.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're losing on every front. You're losing on every front. I understand that AI is so smart, but you can't control it. I think it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. Or I think people are going to get more and more knowledgeable about the whole history of Zionism.
Yeah.
And people are going to wake up and into the U.S. liberty, 9/11, JFK. I think it's coming. And, I love Jews, but I don't think Israel has the right to exist at the cost of the Palestinians.
Absolutely. I'll second that, brother. It's definitely bad optics to say the least. And yeah, it's been horrific to watch what's happened, and I don't say that lightly. It's been absolutely atrocious. So,
It's and everyone just sits there and everyone has just short-term memory,
yeah,
just
yeah,
short-term memory. They don't remember 9/11. They don't remember any of these wars of this bullshit that's going on. And this notion that we should be killing people so that they don't kill us, even though it never seems like that's an option. Like this delusions of grandeur. Anyways, Jason, great show. Thank you for coming out. One more time, push where they can find you.
absolutely, brother. Well, hey, I just wanted to say, let me know. I'll send you out one of these for your kids as
We'd
well.
love that, dude.
Yeah.
I'll send you my before you go, I'll give you before you log off, I'll give you my number and we'll go from there. And
Dude, I love that.
I'll be able to send you my address to send me those things for sure.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, our home hub is thefreethoughtproject.com, guys. So check that out. There at the top on the tab, you could see our podcast. Hopefully, I'll have Sam on sometime soon. But
Let's
we've had
go.
a lot of excellent guests. We had Dr. Ron Paul, Dr. Robert Malone, who I mentioned earlier, Ben Swan, Peter Schiff, Tom Woods. I mean, all the legends of liberty and some. We even just recently had a dude talking about the Malaysia MH370 flight that disappeared. He's like an expert. This dude named Ashton Forbes on
Yep. We love them.
Twitter.
I want to get them on too.
Yeah, yeah, dude, get him. It was a mind-blowing podcast. So definitely check out our podcast, guys. But otherwise, you can find me at Twitter at Jason Bassler1 or Instagram at jason.ebassler.